No, I wouldn't.
Hello, rough trainees.
Hello.
Let everyone sit down and I'll introduce the people who need no introduction. This is Rose, we're on a bicycle today. We're in the middle, so I'm standing up still, Bruce. You got the comfy chair.
I'm in the pensioner's chair.
So thank you so much for coming to this really special evening this evening to celebrate a really special album. I need not, stress that enough, really. We know why we're here. And I'm really, really honoured also to be here, say my teenage self, jumping up and down. So I'm trying not to. Let me introduce to you people here. Obviously, Bruce Mitchell, known as Mr. Manchester. Man on a bicycle, and integral, obviously, to Durutti Column's sound. Mr. Keir Stewart, producer, engineer, and instrumental again to Durutti Column's sound. And also James Nice, author, historian, factory boffin, and man about town too. Are you, James? And everybody, if you can speak into your mics, and you have to hold it really close to your mouth here. So if you're in the first couple of rows, you get that, but otherwise you don't. So welcome. Thank you for coming down all the way as well to London town, to the Southern Softies. We're going to give you an easy time.
A long way on the bike.
Certainly is. Are you comfortable doing these events? Because Durutti Column are known for their mystique, known for the gauze and the veil and the music speaking for itself. And we've got three people here to lift the lid tonight.
Comfortable. Yes.
So Frank Ocean, the Avalanches, Young Lean, Youth Lagoon, Mark Williams Lewis, and many, many more. There are loads of them, and I think Keir's got a list. Have declared or demonstrated an interest in the past few decades with Durutti Column's influence. Sorry, my words are getting raw. I'm sure there's many more. Dev Hynes, obviously, as we know, sampled Sing to Me in 2025. And indeed, as recent as a couple of months ago, Mr. Harry Styles, I don't know if anyone's heard of him, cited Durutti Column as a key influence on his 2026 album, Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally, which is, of course, the title of a long-lost Guy Debord text. It's a factory joke. It's a situationist joke. Okay, in a minute. And we're obviously going to talk about Harry Styles in a little bit. But I didn't want to start at the beginning. I want to start with this album. I want to start with the now, and that why, after almost 16 years, I think, is there a new album? And what led up to it? Did it take almost 16 years to
Yes.
In inception, Bruce?
Yes, it did take that long. Anything of reasonable quality is going to take a long time, isn't it? You didn't mind waiting, did you? I'm just leading the punters now.
Yeah, you are. Well, there were 27 albums that went beforehand, so there was a lot to listen to.
38. Shit. 38.
38?
38 albums. That should be enough for you.
Absolutely. Well, tell us about it then, Bruce. Are you the first port of call with Vini? How does creation happen?
Reluctantly, I'm the first port of call with Vini. No, this album is it's Keir's album. We've been doing it since 2018, would you say?
Yeah.
In a way, in yours,
Maybe bits of it.
in your cellar.
Yeah.
And then when COVID hit, then he had to do it from his kitchen.
Yeah.
With you in your estate car outside, with the lines running out to the control board, you at the wheel of your estate car, in the driving rain, taking down those magic notes that Vin was creating in his kitchen. You suffered, didn't you?
Yeah. It had to be the kitchen. get a warmer sound.
And that's no tradition.
Because of the
I thought
oh,
pots and pans, the sort of
Yeah.
fans going
well,
everywhere.
oven, the cream of tomato soup that's warming, it's warmer.
Right, again.
No, weirdly, COVID injected a little bit of kind of organisation and structure in. It's like, we have to, try and do some tunes, kid. Come on, get in there, get in. Okay. And yeah, like the weird kind of limitations of
All I had to do was wave pound notes.
yeah. But my studio, it's in Whalley Range, in my basement. It's actually quite a well endowed, mixing and recording place with live rooms and drum room and stuff.
That's magic.
But COVID meant that we had to do it with a laptop and a very lightweight, like a little audio interface and maybe one mic, one DI box and a speaker, not even two speakers, just like absolute, in a lot of ways, I would say it's probably the most lo-fi in terms of equipment of any Durutti project, because I've always had access to, if I
But the music wasn't lightweight. The music was heavyweight. And he's being too modest.
Yeah, and also I can mix stuff quite well, so
At the
I put
wheel of your car.
yeah. So the mixing these days, just requires technical brilliance, skill.
Yeah.
And that's obviously I'm going against the Durutti Column philosophy now. I'm bigging myself up, but
So what's the official Durutti Column line and philosophy? Restriction is surely part of it. Restriction breeds creativity. There's something about that, and something that Vini Reilly seems to. It's about hard times sometimes, and this beautiful music comes out.
I'll say what Bruce will have loads to say about this.
Yeah.
I'll say that the position of the Durutti Column is to let the selling of the music be the music. Let the music speak. Let the music seduce and attract like-minded fans of music. End of. And I suppose I'm quite aligned with this, and I find there is part of overt commercial marketing. I kind of find it a bit gratuitous and a bit what's the word?
Vin Reilly's the word. Vin Reilly's the source. A dangerous, dark person inside the kitchen sending out guitar notes that you didn't always want.
And the deficit, that the downside is you don't sell that much. You don't do world tours. You don't get Steven Spielberg directing pop video, but you get to do whatever the fuck you want musically, with zero consequence and with zero judgment, and that's like freedom, isn't it? I don't know. It's like freedom.
It's creative freedom, yes.
Sounds like philosophy.
Tell me, Keir, when did you start working, for people who don't remember, with Vini and Durutti Column? And when did you start to get into that ethos? Did you have to be persuaded, or were you always someone who was interested in the artistry over?
He got fired from the Fall.
Most people in Manchester.
We all have. Over the other 200 people.
Yeah,
More than that.
Yeah.
true.
Tell me more. Tell everybody more
Well,
about how.
they're getting fired from the floor.
No. we kind of can imagine how that.
And he was glad to go.
Yeah, that happens too. But yeah, so when does the working relationship start with you, and how has it changed over the years and into this album? You say that seems to have had quite a difficult birth in a way.
Okay. Well, first of all, I was into music. I was a music fan as a kid. I was really loopy on music. So when I say loopy, I mean I used to listen to Kraftwerk, often like hundreds of times over, like wearing tapes out, wearing vinyl out, trying to figure out. So so it all comes from obsession with music initially. So 10 Computer World comes out, all the rest of it. But then the Manchester music scene starts to really kick off with bands like The Fall and The Smiths, and other more obscure acts as well. But they were all kind of my neighbours. They were like literally people who lived around like Simply Red lived basically on half of them lived on my road, and Mick Hucknall. Morrissey lived 2 streets away. We used to see him a bit. Then I was actually. What are you laughing at?
No, I'm enjoying the story.
So then I was studying the music a bit. I got a job. I've got a proper job in a studio, and I was working at Pete Waterman's Hit Factory as part of a pretend independent label in the back. So that's where I got to work with Marquis Smith on Plug Myself In, which was like a sort of Chemical Brothers-y studio project with Simon Spencer. It's like a brilliant guy, no longer with us. It was about that time, and I got kind of a bit.
Yeah, because that's quite far removed, is it not? From
Yeah, it was like really angular, angry techno, stomping, distortion, all the rest of it. But I was always I was aware of the Durutti Column. I was a fan of the Durutti Column. I was interested in music in a broad sense. Vinny's girlfriend at the time was actually working in a restaurant.
Was she really?
She was working at Steak and Kebab Didsbury. And so like Vin was on my, sort of in my orbit in a way.
Yeah. Life revolved around that steak.
And then this is totally true.
That sounds like the name of a lost.
We all were there.
First time I met Bruce, he was playing rhythm and blues upstairs with this little band in the Steak and Kebab restaurant.
Never.
You're being serious.
I am being serious. About a week after doing
It's just a hidden story. I haven't seen any of this.
About a week after doing a gig at Manchester Cathedral with Durutti Column. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? It's like, just one of my mates, Was it Victor Brox, maybe? Anyway. So kind of it's starting to happen, but I'm not working. A few more years go by. Someone else I know, Laurie, is doing stuff with you. He phones me and says, "Oh, I need to get this band I'm playing with recorded. Can you get us in anywhere?" It's like, yeah, okay. I'm working in a studio, and we did a song called Organ Donor.
Right.
Organ Donor.
Oh.
First song we did.
What's it involved? Was Martin Jackson on that one as well?
No, Martin Jackson was
Later, yeah.
Well, no, before that. So
the timeline slips out of sync very often.
So I'm a bit like, this is weird. I'm kind of a bit of a fan of the Durutti Column, but
no, he isn't.
But yeah, so. But yeah, it sort of makes sense. Local band needs to record. Come into the studio. So I was like a ninja in this digital studio. This 16-track digital studio had the Akai DD 1500 in it with the jog wheel that you've heard on Everything in Its Right Place by Radiohead. You know, I was like, yeah, get them in there. I'll sort them right out. Anyway, the day of the session, okay, you can't have a 16 track because there's some audio book being recorded in there. You've got to go in 24 track. Did I know what I was doing in the 24 track? Did I fuck? I didn't, it was a mess. It was like everything was patched wrong.
You fooled us.
I don't think I did. Vin was getting really upset because he just wanted to hear something on his headphones. He was like messing about with the piano. I just couldn't get the headphones working for it. Anyway, there till 4 a.m, and you know everyone's gone home. He's just like, oh fuck this. But the next day, Vin and Bruce phoned us back and said, "Yeah, that's fucking brilliant." And can we come in? Can we do another one?
Displays our weak grasp of that time.
Also, your options were pretty narrow. Is the end of factory?
No, listen, we had strawberry 1, we had strawberry 2, we had yellow 1, we had yellow 2. Why couldn't we get in there? 10cc
Studios, aren't they?
would they?
No, I'm not surprised now.
Can I ask?
Bruce.
Can I ask Keir a question? Sort of leading from that.
Yes.
So you've got your own studio called Inch.
Yeah.
And you talked about recording the new album with Vin. My understanding is that the tracks were recorded at various times over the last 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And my firm memory is of hearing some of this material just pre-COVID, and then each year I would ask Bruce once a year, what's happening with that material? Can you let me hear it? But it's all been
In my
recorded.
car. Yeah.
All been recorded at different times, and you just let Vinny come in when the spirit takes him and just
Yes.
record spontaneously. Is that how it works?
Yeah, a painter needs to have the right time, the right space, and the right paint to throw on the canvas. So that was the idea. Vin was the painter. He was the artist with the guitar. So when he invented a tune, we'd go to Keir. Keir, we've got this tune. Can you fix it?
I've got to say, work with a lot. Work with a lot of artists, and some of them say they're going to turn up at 1 o'clock and don't turn up. Some of them don't turn up at all. Vin has never. If Bruce is like, right, you're recording with Vin, he will do it. He will do it. You know, Vin's attitude to work is like actually really. I've never had a problem with it.
Yeah.
I've sort of felt, you know.
You had to raise your game, didn't you, Keir?
On this album.
Or with Vinny.
In the studio.
I think you're being goaded there.
No, I'll tell you what I feel. I'll tell you what I feel about working with Vin is that there's a kind of volatile space where he doesn't quite know how much I'm gonna do, and and the other way around. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's some songs that are we're both being a bit standoffish, and then we end up with this kind of almost unfinished, weird. You know, like, is it unfinished, or is it? Should I do more, or should he
That's
do?
very similar to painting, and you
Yeah.
Bruce call him a painter, and I've always thought that that's the closest analogy that you can get, can't you? Really, Durutti Column music does something else. It takes you something, and we were talking just back there about the space that's there, and I think what is so beautiful. I mean, this album makes me cry. Some of the songs as well. What is so beautiful is that you start joining up the dots yourself. You start hearing things that are there, they're not there. You're just given this space, and there's this real generosity of being able to sit with the music and have a really individual experience as well with it. Do you get that when you're working with him? As you say, is that the uncertainty is actually one of the key things to this album and many of his?
Yeah, I'd say that the work is never, we're verbalizing this. It was something we've never done, not at any point. But it happens, and it's happening, and you allow it to happen, and you have to assess how far you go with formal ideas of repairing and correcting and kind of applying structure, stuff like that.
Something that may not need it.
Yeah,
It's very said painting. Sometimes paintings are seen as unfinished by the painter.
yeah,
It kind of doesn't matter as long as it's out in the world.
yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Vin has done many brilliant pieces of music on his own, like utterly, reel to reel tape recorder drum machine.
Yeah.
Some of those, I only heard the some of those demos from the first album.
Yeah.
That he did on his own, and it's just the most incredible stuff.
He was recording those in Piperthorpe Road in his mum's house, and he was in fear of his father interfering, and then would record his vocals underneath the bed, whispering into the into his reel to reel. And that's, if you listen to the first album, you'll see examples of them recording stuff very, very quiet, that he doesn't want to wake the household, or even worse, wake his dad up. So that defines the art in that particular aspect.
Good art reflects the situation when the
Yeah.
situation has been already pre-approved by the management. You see what I mean? We should reflect what real life is. And that's what's so exciting. I also think about Durutti Column is it reflects Vini so much, but it takes you somewhere else. It becomes something so transcendent and beautiful.
Yeah, I mean you've hit on. It's when you're inside this, it's not always easy to appreciate the way it's perceived. You never really enjoy. Someone makes you cheese on toast, or someone makes you a really nice cup of tea. It's always nicer when someone else does it. When you do it yourself, it's like, so it's really tough. But there is something. There are moments of transcendental, or
Alchemy.
I don't know what. Well,
Because Vini, when he's talked about records before, and I, looked up some interviews and seen, how he talks about the things when they're finished, and he's really self-deprecating. It's like,
Yes.
yeah, that's finished.
Yes.
How do you feel about that? Should you?
I'll tell you how I feel about
Come on,
it.
son, just get yourself back.
We'd go and we'd do radio shows, and I think Mark Radcliffe will bear this out, and the Cody as well, that we'd go on to a radio show to promote our latest record, and then would invariably slag his own record off, not being very good, and the audience listening on the radio should not buy it. You should wait for this new one. You just think about it. And Radcliffe loved it. So we'll get Vinny in to slag off his latest album. We always enjoy that.
Goodness me. James, I want to bring you in, as I say, you're the factory boffin here. And also you've brought your Vini Reilly book in, which is really hard to find if anyone does want to buy it later. In terms of record labels, could Durutti Column have been on anything but Factory?
Factory was started with the intention of recording the Durutti Column. So the label was set up for the group. So it's nice, almost coming full circle now, that this album, it has a factory number. The most recently issued factory number, perhaps the last one, courtesy of Oliver Wilson. But yeah, it's a foundational group for the label. It was one of the few groups, I think, that Tony Wilson brought to the label that was actually pretty good. Because a lot of the groups he liked were sort of artistic experiments, and Durutti Column was, but it was also incredibly musical and highly original as well. And Tony Wilson not only started the label for the group, but he managed the group in an idiosyncratic way. And after a fairly short period of time, Bruce started co-managing as well. But I can't imagine that any other
mistake.
I can't imagine any other label would have taken a chance on Vini, and it was a very interesting way of packaging that first album with
Sandpaper.
Sandpaper sleeve, but with some very gentle pastoral music inside, which Vini himself has said that were it not for that sleeve, probably would have been lost in as and dismissed as a fairly sort of wimpy, folky thing at the time. But that just shows how effective Factory was at marshalling and to some extent marketing his talent. And then he was allowed to do kind of what he wanted all that time, with very little interference from Tony and Alan Erasmus. I think most people would say most of the classic catalogue dates from that time, but I would like to say, hand on my heart, I think this new album is a really excellent album as well. It touches on many of the styles that the band have previously explored, whether it's electronica, whether it's almost sort of chamber music. You can hear Vini's guitar in there fairly clearly as well as his voice. So it touches on most of those bases, and I think it's I don't know whether this is the last album or not. I'm hoping it won't take another 16 years to do another one. But I think it is a fantastic record. Musically, it's got great pedigree as well in terms of the artwork from 8 Though. Oliver Wilson has given it a lovely Factory catalogue number. But I'd really be interested to hear from you two. I mean, everybody knows that Vini had some health problems a few years ago. He had some strokes and things. How has that changed the way you work with him, the way he writes, and the way new music's made?
It comes from the notes where some musicians will create a series of notes that carry on living, and you don't know why you want to hear them over and over again. One of my obsessions is when Vin writes great songs. It takes a long time for you to realise how special they are. And my obsession on this album was to get a reimagining of a song called For Friends in Belgium. And Keir stepped up to the plate, rearranged Friends in Belgium, brought loads of talented players to come and help him. Keir would lay some of the parts down himself and then would ring up and say, this piano part that I've done isn't good enough. I've got this guy up in Middleton that could play this piano part better. Can we employ him? And of course, that's how this particular track, which I want you to listen to on a regular basis, is now called For Friends Everywhere. And it confirms the idea of when it's a piece of music and you're in a band that play this one song every night and you still have an energy to do it, it's something special about the music. It's and Vin creates songs like that, and the sampler that James has curated is a very good example of like 10 songs, is it? 10 songs that reflect quite a long Vini Reilly career, and Vini won't be able to analyse it for you. He's just going to play it, and that's what some special musicians do, and it's why a special musician can inspire other players. And when Keir got this gig going, put this gig together for the South Bank, all the musicians involved, they had some enthusiasm for it, and they started to reflect on how much energy and pleasure they had in delivering it. So we hope it's something that indicates the quality in the first place.
There always is. We've heard a lot about how musicians have been inspired by Vini. I've never read who inspires Vini. What does he draw his references
His
from?
father's.
But also now, what does he listen to now? I want to know. You must know what's on the record deck. What's CDs he's been buying.
There's two answers to this. One is that he's continuously listening to music. He's a big music fan. He's like a music fan, like you are, and he can't get enough of it. There's always something he's after. There's something that he's found. There's something that
It is.
and it continuously changes, and his interest goes. We get little obsessions, and we deep dive, don't we? It's called deep diving now, and Vin continuously does that. There's some. The early when he was really young, I guess there's some really significant influences. But I think it's a very broad thing. I think if you want to think about the guitar sound, I know he's a massive Peter Green fan. Early Fleetwood Mac, Fats Waller, pianist, Django maybe.
Yes.
Um,
A lot of these pieces of music were in his father's collection. His father was a little bit of a piano player, but with Vin, listening to music, and very often music he doesn't know, it's his oxygen, it's his nourishment. In fact, so much nourishment if he gets to eat, as we all know.
I might be wrong, because it's sort of before my adulthood, but I get the feeling that Vin was well known in Manchester for being a hot guitar, like a hot musician.
Yeah.
He was just like, everyone knows Vini Reilly.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, have you seen this guy? And he was getting compared to John McLaughlin. He was getting compared to maybe, oh God, every journalist says John Martin, but actually really fucking technical, like absolutely mind-meltingly hot. But he sort of moved through that. There's loads of musicians, aren't there? There's loads of like finger tapping, there's loads of like fiddly keyboard players, and he just kind of burnt through that phase of being a musician, and it's like a distillation. It became a distillation of harmony. The music becomes actually simpler in a way that is almost shit. You can't do a tune that's just one chord all the way through. Like this is,
That was his dispute with the Morrissey album, wasn't it? He didn't approve of the chord structure that Steve, the producer, brought in.
Yet he did it himself. Like Otis is a really obvious thing, isn't it?
Have you worked with a guitarist ever like him before, Keir?
I've worked with
lots of people.
really hot. I've worked with an incredible guitarist called Tommy Emmanuel. So I got to work with him on a Diana Ross album, and he was really, really a great guitarist. But I wouldn't call him. Maybe not a great artist. A great showman.
That's what I was going to say. There's something about some guitarists where it's just, here's the phallic object, aren't I so good at it? And I've got a load of notes, put some extra notes in. You just think, I've heard that before, and you have none of that with a real musician and a real artist.
Vin
trying to get a different voice from it.
Vin did all that shit and got it out of his system before things really got going, I think. It's really interesting.
What are other standout tracks from the album? Because for Friends Everywhere, we've talked about, it's really beautiful. Something else happens now with that track, and there's an enormous amount of instrumentation on there.
I
What
want
other
to do another version now.
you?
Well, we listen to the album. We listen to our own stuff, don't we?
Yeah,
We
this
listen.
could be better.
People talk about, what was your approach to the album? There's no approach. There was, we're doing a tune today. What of the fuck are we gonna do with it? So the tunes are made in isolation. James helped us. Really,
James tells us if it's okay or not.
great job, by the way,
Good job.
in sequencing those songs and hearing it today as a passenger. I was like on the back seat of the car, like a kid, I'm going to London for the day. Put the Durutti Column album on. And it was really nice hearing the paintings all hanging together in a balanced fashion. It really was. It was like an album that it's a bit of a journey and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's really hard for me to sit and enjoy. It's taken me a long time to enjoy it in a passive. I believe there's two kinds of listening: active listening, which is what I do a lot of, where you're looking for shit to fix.
Yeah, it's the toppy hi-hats, isn't it?
Yeah, and then there's passive listening, which is what we do as customers of music. And I was able to do that in the car, like it wasn't anything to do with me. And it was really nice. So, in answer to your question, I don't feel like there's a favourite track on it.
There were about 22 possible tracks.
Okay, right.
And we selected 10. Quite a lot of the tracks had different guest vocalists on. And I didn't want to use too many of those because there's a long history of Durutti Column having guest vocalists, but essentially the voice you're more often going to hear is Vini, and you're going to hear instrumentals. So there was an effort to sort of keep within a certain frames of reference. It's fantastic when you hear Keelan singing Sargasso Sea, but it wouldn't really be appropriate to have her singing on 6 songs on a Durutti Column album. So there was a mixture of vocal songs, Vini vocalising on a couple, Keelan on a couple, but having instrumentals as well, just making it into a good Durutti Column album that was identifiably Durutti Column, but as I say, that covers a lot of styles.
It also helps that Keelan is pitch perfect. The intonation is always there. I'm overselling this, aren't I?
But again, it's an album which is similar to Vinny's work, is that the voices become the melody lines, the guitar becomes the vocal line, that suddenly you sometimes get disorientated because it's about the sound and doing different things with the sound, what you don't expect as a listener. Does Vinny, is he self-deprecating about this one? Is he really pleased with the reception? Because we should talk about the reception today. It's garnering incredible reviews, as it should, but there really is this renewed interest, which is so wonderful. Finally, can we get a bit of, yeah, all right, I did all right from Vin?
We're still going to carry on putting the back catalogue out relentlessly.
Is he happy?
And keep on putting it out until you buy it all.
Again.
You've got a captive audience, they will, but is Vinny happy with this? I want to know.
Oh yeah, he was delighted when he first heard Keir's version of Friends in Belgium, now retitled.
I was dreading him hearing that, by the way.
I wasn't dreading it. I wasn't dreading it at all. He's just frightened of Vini kicking off, because Vini Reilly kicking off is something serious. He turns to the Exorcist on the wrong note delivered. And there we are. I've just told you the dark story of Vini Reilly.
Lifted the lid.
I lived in fear when my book came out. I thought it was kind of inevitable that at some point Vinny would decide he really didn't like it and would
He
flame
wa-
it.
he was kicking off about stuff all the way through the book.
I thought he would flame it when it came out, but he didn't. So maybe there's hope that he won't flame this album either. Maybe he's mellowed slightly. Probably not. But he should like this album because it's really, really good.
Well, next time he kicks off, we'll record it. We'll put that as an album as well.
I mean, you have said, Bruce, before that you've shown him on a laptop that this is Spotify, these are the figures, a lot of people like your work, and he's just not bothered.
No, not really. No. He's hard to understand, you know, really. What you can't understand is the musical notes. That's what you should be happy with, not with how difficult it can be, because you'll be the first person to say he's hard to work with, and I'd be the second person to say it's hard to work with as well. You've got the music, you should be satisfied with that. So I'll leave that with you.
It goes back to what you were saying about
Just the art, not the artist.
position of, or the what's the word? Yeah, the position of awarding yourself freedom. Like, okay, I'm just only gonna do what I want, and there is a purity to that, and it's envied actually by artists miles bigger and bigger selling than the Durutti Column of Vini. There's a sort of bravery to assume that position. Is there, Bruce?
Yeah, I'm just going to keep on putting it out whether one say or not.
Bruce is all over the back end.
The back end, yeah, that's what the Americans call it, the back end. You think so?
Yeah, there's I don't want to use the word sacred, but there is something lawless. There's something lawless about it. Something like
Unhinged.
unhinged. Anarchic. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
An
Anarchic.
auction now.
Who can get the best one? We need to. I mean, we can see there is a thirst here for the audience to say things and ask them questions. Do we have mics for a Q&A?
No, they can shout these.
If you shout, and then I'll repeat it back if someone can't hear what the question was. Do we have any questions you must have for Bruce, Keir, or James?
I was just going to say, obviously, it's nothing new that Vini's going to shine from the spotlight. I wanted to know how is he at the moment, and we came down for the London show the other day, and it's fantastic. But
Vinny wasn't there.
So
Yeah.
we just need to repeat back the question because some people won't have heard, which you can do.
Yeah. So basically, you're asking, how is Vinny? How is he? Right? And you were at the South Bank show. It was enjoyable, but Vinny wasn't there. Discuss.
He didn't want to be there, actually. Those that went, he thanks you for showing up, but he's delighted that the music is living, being knocked out by mugs like me and him. He's in good spirits about it. And Vin has very serious ups and downs, as you probably already know. Last week he nearly threw his dinner all over the Guardian writer. And then 2 or 3 days later, there was an incident with McConey and his BBC team at the house. And these are little skirmishes of artistic freedom it allows itself. But he's in good spirits. And he does what he wants to do, but he has struggled recently, as you probably know. He couldn't leave Stretford Memorial Hospital until he agreed to have carers in his house so he could be independent. Anyway, he's managed to fire them all. He found out he was paying. They all got fired. So the spirit is there.
Can I add something to that? So we wouldn't have this album if it wasn't for Keir and his studio and recording it and doing all the sessions with Vini and co-writing some of the material. But we wouldn't have a Vini anymore if it wasn't for Bruce. And Bruce has stood by Vini for the last 46 years, starting off as drummer, then becoming co-manager. His family have stood by Vini as well. And
Well, thank you for that. Oh,
I'm finished
I'm
yet.
just hoping that the till will ring eventually.
But it's not only been an amazing musical journey, but it's a fantastic and very warming human story at how the Mitchells have looked after Vini, not just since he had his strokes a few years ago. But I think, Bruce, I haven't told you this before, I think you are the most impressive human being I've ever met.
Oh,
Oh.
And it's
bollocks to the parents.
Nice. Are there any other questions? Don't know how you can follow that. Okay.
We did our best for you. And it was an expensive ticket, is that right? Oh, right, okay, cool.
You were at both shows?
Yeah.
Which did you prefer? That's very... Great. Thank
He's been
you.
mixing it. And there's these dodgy bits, and he fixes it.
Right.
Yeah.
We talk about the South Bank.
Thanks, like kid. We've marked your card.
Can I just say that the music you heard before we came on was actually a recording from the South Bank. And that's how good it was.
Yeah. You got a bit of value added tonight.
It's an exclusive, isn't it?
Are there any other questions? Oh yes, in the front. So we're talking about the music being like painting, and I'm trying to turn it into a question because we have the boffins
What
here.
was your entry point? 'Cause
Yeah.
you look a bit younger than the average Durutti Column fan.
My sister was a painter, and then I got into the Durutti Column. But she, inspired me, and I always like found the name of the band like really mysterious and like kind of. I still, I don't know, I'm 38. It was the return of the Durutti Column, and
Which one?
Turn off.
Eternal.
All right, yeah.
And it was the freedom, exactly. It was the scope and the space of the music, and it's really inspiring. It really does. It's one of those, for me, one of the only bands that have that kind of.
And you probably know that it was a difficult album just because Vini was confronted by Martin Hannett, who was completely fucking barney.
Say the least.
I'm saying this, I lived with it.
Yes. Oh look, we can do this because they're all in the front row. The people asking questions.
So my entry to Durutti Column was Somebody Else's Party, which was about
The venue of the live album, was it?
No, the album Somebody Else's Party, which is
Oh, right, sorry.
yeah, it's the suite of about Vinny's loss of his mom,
Yeah.
which I discovered and listened to as my own mom was dying. So it means a lot to me. But that was my entry point. So the question is, what was it like working with Vinny when he was going through and exploring such emotional
It just
material?
It would happen. It just come out in the songs, and it seemed to be a lot of the most successful early songs was Vin, creating eulogies for his family, and is so noticeable when you think one of the most used tracks in movies was a live version from the New York gig. What was the track? Was it Requiem?
Requiem again.
He did a live version, and that's the one that was used in that Tom Cruise film. And when you hear it, all the soul is pouring out through those notes. And I was there, and I didn't really understand it.
I saw it. You do that with Bonnie Scott.
Yeah, it was well, it's an astonishing thing. And when I hear it now, I'm still shocked by it, and I was in the room. Yeah, I don't know. So that's why I'm promoting the mystery of great pieces of music.
Ian Curtis and Vini Reilly had something in common in that they worked for the civil service. Is that right?
I believe so.
Could either of them have continued having a normal job and doing a bit of music on the side, or did they need to do this? Obviously, they're incredibly different people, characters.
In those days, you had to have a job as well as creating music.
But could you
Like
take the music
starved.
away from Vinny and he could just be the listener, the customer, as you called it? Okay.
Customers, punters.
Vinny worked for the post office briefly, but after that he worked in a garage serving petrol. So I think that probably answers your question about
He had
whether he would
girlfriends.
have continued as a civil servant. The answer is no. He's not someone that could exist in the
Strike
real world.
I'll strike a street level view now. It's when petrol stations used to have that single building with a till in it, and you come out of your box to put petrol in. It was on Ballamore Road. But Vinny did attract women, and sometimes he'd consummate the relationship inside the petrol station.
There's a lot of exclusives here tonight. That's not in the books.
It's a gift.
So
That's not in the book.
I've won him onto the front page of the Daily Mirror now.
How good a footballer was
He
he?
claims he was brilliant.
Yeah.
Manchester City should have done more with him.
No, it is true, because many of the albums that have been done at my house have involved keep-ups in the garden and dicking around with a football, and he is really good. He's really nifty. Like you're a bit too good. Fun fact: both Vin and Johnny Marr played for Manchester City Juniors.
Really?
Johnny Marr was a pretty hot.
What shirt number did they have?
I don't know. Well, it takes me back to this headline in the Guardian where he said Ian Curtis didn't stand a chance. When I read it, I thought he meant for scrapping.
Yeah.
Scrapping him. Like,
Yeah, I know.
talking about having a fight, but no.
Didn't they say him and Pattenden played football in?
Yeah, it was one of his friends. He came. Pat never used to come to gigs, and only a small guy, Pat Nevin. I don't know why that's important to me, but when if it's a famous footballer, you expect to hulk through the door.
Now you've got to have the nifty
This
ones.
is quiet Scottish,
Getting in and out.
deferential, and pleased with having a guest pass on his jacket.
Are there any other questions? Burning. Oh yes. Third row. Do you want to try for the mic?
So my question would be to Keir. You mentioned running a couple of cables into his kitchen to record.
More than two.
A few.
Yeah, because I had to give him.
I wanted to ask, was it like an uphill battle to make the album sound as professional as possible, or was there more of a DIY embrace in this case? Like, how are you miking the amps and stuff like that?
Next question.
Like buffering. Okay, so.
Are you challenging his artistry? I'm only asking.
So what you're saying is, what you're asking me is that was it a struggle? Was it a struggle technically? No?
I think it's more lo-fi versus hi-fi, I think, that question.
Yeah, so, well, there were elements of there are elements of recording with Vin which are simple and don't depend on a lot of fancy gear. So getting the guitar DI'd, it's like quite a simple thing. DIing a guitar and having the sound in the headphones as inspiring and spacious and like it's in a space, that's tricky from a van. But yeah, you can do it now. You couldn't really have done that, even 10, 15 years ago. But the technology is just about there where you can do that. We only did the van thing. I mean, it's a great story, isn't it? I recorded the album in a van from his kitchen. The kettle was on, the blender was going.
I always mentioned the driving rain and the hail outside.
Yeah.
Poor old Keir with the heater on in his car to keep warm and turn the knobs, creating Vinny's sound. It was warm and happy in his kitchen. Pushing out the magic.
Slipping and falling in the mud in the front garden to get the microphone.
He was an embarrassment to the neighbourhood, I tell you.
It's true. The simplification of the gear and the process and the lo-fi. I mean, the vocals recorded, on a really not great microphone. But yeah, the software and the denoising and all that kind of boring stuff is just about there now, where you can actually deal with that. And then there's actually some win with some of those limitations and some of those confines. And it's not that side of it isn't really that dissimilar to being in the studio. Studio is a very controlled environment, and you've got a bigger choice of microphones and stuff. But at the end of the day, most of what gets recorded in its raw state, it sounds pretty shit, and you have to, dress and muck around and try stuff and mixing. I'm all about mixing. I'm a real fucker for getting the early take with loads of mistakes in it, shit, and
I could do the mistakes.
and then fixing that up to win the spirit of that initial performance, rather than let's try it 20 times and like when you get to the D minor, can you push it a quaver forward so that we get a bit of like a funk? But like you were never gonna fucking have that chat in a Durutti Column session in a million years.
What's a D minor?
You will get a fucking bucket full of fish pie poured over you. Yeah. Does that answer you?
He's sorry,
yeah, sorry. I am a bit of a waffler, so you just got to.
Oh, that's good.
Give it.
I've got one last thing to ask Bruce, but it's about music in general because we're almost out of time. Peter Hook once said of you, it's probably in your book, James, I think it is, there aren't many people in rock and roll like Bruce, with his monocle and his hats.
Who said this? Okay.
Yeah. Bruce's reputation is a result of his total unselfishness and willingness to muck in.
Hockey said this.
Yes, he said it's nice about you. He sees helping bands as a civic duty, and my question to you all is, should helping bands be now a civic duty?
He's a smarmy bastard, isn't he? All the things I remember. No, we did tour with Hockey, and he was good company. He was better company when he was a drunk, by the way, when he was living with us.
Less of the gossip. Should music be a civic duty? Should we all be here to help promote music, even though it makes no one any money, but it makes us all happy culturally?
No. Well, no, Hookie's a great musician. I really like Hookie's the musician. He's great. But funny guy. No, he's fine. What energy? You can't stop him, can you now? Everybody else has stopped, but not Hookie. He's charging around the planet doing gigs left, right, and centre. Is it all his family in the band?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay. No, it's
Can I offer?
any time that Hookie did any recording with me and Vin, at the end of the session, I said, "Is Tony going to sort out your wedge for you?" He said, "No, I'll never get paid. You pay me." Wilson, I'll never pay me. You pay me. And there we are. I've shocked Hookie for what he is.
Got a fun fact, a little add-on. Mrs. Merton, Caroline O'Hearn, was a Durutti Column fan. I got to work.
Introduced us on stage, didn't she?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I got to work with her a few years after she was with Hookie on a TV film she'd written, and she was really in love with the music. Yeah, it's really.
She came on the tour in Portugal with us, and they were her and Hockey were a nightmare because they'd do the gig, they'd get out the brains through the night, and the following morning I had to find them somewhere to make sure we could get them on the bus and get them to the next town. And then he stopped drinking, didn't he, at that stage? So, not my fault. He stopped drinking.
James, should music be a civic duty?
Do you mean it should be subsidised?
Nationalised, subsidised. We should see it for what it is, which is absolutely vital.
No, because I just don't. There's so many people make music. I don't know how on earth you would decide who got a subsidy and who didn't. I think the market is quite a good editor in many ways.
Yeah.
So no, I don't agree with subsidy of music, I'm afraid. The song "Liars" could be construed.
So we're on to politics. At which point, I think we should say thank you, James Nice, Keir Stewart. Lovely.
Or South Bank.
Yeah.